Okay, back for part three here. Let's finish up this eyeball real quick. I'm going to select my eyeball color, and I want something cooler, a little bit lighter, maybe a little less saturated, and I'm going to, again, really refine the edges of this eyeball. And to do so, in fact, I'm going to switch it back to the flat color. Let me deselect my mask. There we go. And I'm gonna just get in here and clean up some of these edges a little bit. I want to show my face so I can see what's important to touch on. I just want to get a little bit of a lighter color, maybe on the underside here, and then I'm going to get a nice warm orangey yellow color again, because oftentimes there's a lot of there can be anyway, a bit of yellow in the eyes. I'm going to switch this back to the eye reflection matte. Back to the skin shader. Okay. And just going to drop in a little bit more yellow. That'll be fine. Good enough. Good enough. Go back to the face. And I'm going to put in some eyebrows. I'm going to doodle in a little bit, like I said before, a little bit here. Let me actually do that right now. Let's make it a little bit of purple, sort of a desaturated purplish color. I want to select what we've got there already. Shift it just a little bit redder, a little bit more saturated. Bring my opacity down a touch. And now I'm going to paint it in, get in a nice sort of bed of rose color here. And then on top of that, I'm going to paint my lighter, way too strong apparently. I'm going to paint my lighter bag color. Bring that all the way up under the eye here. Uh, uh, um, Bring a little bit more red just to indicate the bottom, really where our lid creases. That's not too bad. I'm going to give a little in these eyebrow corners here, a little bit across the bridge of the nose here. We're coming along, from nothing to where we are now. I think it's looking halfway decent. Let's also hit these ears a little bit. I tend to jump around a lot, if you haven't noticed. I just kind of notice something and then I want to touch that area. So I'm going to get a little bit deeper red in the crevices and corners of these ears. Really make those stand out and look fleshy, because right now they look a little bit purple, a little bit undead. So I really want to warm up all those thin areas, flesh it out a little bit there. Do a little bit as well for the underside of this cheek. I think generally this head paint job is a little bit lighter than the last one, perhaps. So I'm going to try to correct that, because I want him to be a little bit darker, just a little. He's still a Euro trash assassin, but I want him to have a slightly darker skin tone than this. He's not, he shouldn't be quite that pasty. Okay, getting there, getting there. I'm going to drop some of this orange color from the forehead onto some of these fleshy areas that pop out, that protrude on the ear. And that'll help to unify our palette a little bit, make them look a little less undead. Bring a little bit of contrast to that area, which I like. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and select this brown from the hair again. I'm going to tighten up this hairline just a touch since it's bothering me. Well, I have symmetry on, don't I? Oh, thank goodness it worked out. I'm going to switch off symmetry. And I'm going to get a little right in here. And now we're going to do eyebrows, since he looks a little weird without them. I mean, he's obviously already a weird looking guy, but he looks particularly weird without them. So I'm going to flip our symmetry back on, and we're just going to kind of, I've obviously sort of put the face in a little bit of a frowny expression, and the character being what he is, I feel sort of okay baking that expression in a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and give him some downturned brows, kind of like we had before. And then along the bone here is where the trailing edge of the eyebrow usually rests, just above or along that. So that's where we should try to lay our eyebrows. And then the eyebrows themselves also tend to tuck under. They roll under the brow a little bit right here, and that's what kind of gives you that real sharp slant, because the tissue doesn't actually make that, sharp, angry line. It's the brows that really do that, because of the way they grow from on top to below the brow, or below the bone. Okay. Just a little bit darker. Yeah, there we go. Kind of a bit thicker. Trim them back a little bit. I just sampled the color from the model. That is not too bad for now. I'm going to do a quick render here and see what it looks like under some slightly fancier lighting and shadowing. Yeah, I think that looks pretty decent so far. I'm going to start doing some freckles and some skin details here. I'm going to keep muting the audio though, because the air conditioner's running and I hate that sound, so I'll be talking a little bit less for a minute. So I'm just taking this alpha, another one of those organic pore alphas. I've already blurred it a little bit, and I'm just layering it on these upward facing surfaces to create the indication of freckles, which would, naturally occur due to sun exposure. And I'm just sort of, whenever I get to the middle, I always turn symmetry off to, do whatever I can to avoid that butterfly effect, that horrible vertical mirroring. Even though this sculpt is almost completely symmetrical, I try to do just a little bit, just enough to break that symmetry. And even again, when I hit texture stuff along the center line, I might even turn up my intensity just a little bit to make those details that are unique stand out a little bit more. And that helps to sell that the character is himself, unique and an individual. Let's start to, yeah, I really need to hit these eyes a little bit because they're feeling a little flat. I'm just going to sample that straight off the model, that kind of purplish brownish color. I'm going to turn off my drag rectangle, turn off my alpha, and bring my intensity way down. And then just start alternating between a little bit of this orangey brown. I need it higher than 4% though. Let's try 8. Oh, that's good. A little bit of that, a little bit of this brownish purple. I need something a little bit redder. That's not bad. And again, let's just take a look at this with a flat color. And, nothing too special. We've just added a little bit of this freckle detail. It's generally kind of speckly, but we've got some big basic colors in there that are more or less correct. Areas that are pale on some people, and areas that are flush on others, and then have other effects like subsurface hair growing to change the tone of it, or hair growing directly on it to change the tone of it. I really think I need to continue to work on this nose a little bit. It just generally lacks contrast a little bit. Get a little bit of this dark red into those eye recesses. Oh, that's a little too strong. Just generally, I'm kind of surrounding the face a little bit with some darker colors and a little bit more warmth, and then bringing the lightness down towards the face, bringing all the focus in and here and around it. Get a little bit of red into all these little crevices, a little bit of this dark red. I realize this is taking longer than 30 minutes. We're probably, 45 minutes to an hour or something now, but hopefully, you guys are getting the point. This is how I do what I does. A little bit more dark. I want some more oranges in here, and gosh, I gotta get some greens in. Sometimes I like to combine a brush with, I mean, ZBrush is built in to do this, but to combine drawing in RGB and my additive or subtractive blend modes. So oftentimes what I'll do is I'll select like the damn standard or maybe a standard brush, and and I'll have it do both at the same time, particularly for when I'm doing stuff like hair. I really like to be able to do those simultaneously, as it keeps the alignment correct, which for little precise things like hair is pretty important. So I'm just going to see if maybe I can get in here and paint in some hairs. I need more RGB intensity. A lot more RGB intensity. Just to give a little implication of the eyebrow besides the color alone. Okay. It's not looking too bad. I think I'm going to get a little more detailed with this hairline, and then I might call it a day. Notice also I also will frequently pull back and I'll view it at a distance just to see, to gauge the overall read. How does he view from a distance? Does it look like a person, or does it look like a doll or a mannequin or worse? Alright, let's check out our flat colors again. Yeah, we see some, intensity focusing really on the face. All of our colors are a lot lighter up here, generally, on areas that I want to be pronounced. I can take and exaggerate that a little bit even further. Some of these areas. We'll go back to our skin shader. Treat ourselves to a little render. Wow, that's a slow render. It's probably because I'm recording HD video. Okay, not too bad. So, I think this is probably a good spot to just leave it. This is how I do polypaint in ZBrush. So, usually I have a little bit more of a plan or maybe a direction in mind. And I'll probably execute with a little bit more time and craftsmanship. But generally, this is how I do it. So, thanks for the questions and the comments. And, hopefully this was informative. Good luck, guys.